Hello. Hello, beautiful Cardano people. I'm here to talk to you about something that's very exciting. We had just witnessed collapse of centralized finance bullshit, right? So we need something that's as efficient or more, is compliant, and allows you to do the trades in the centralized and trustless manner. And here I'm to talk to you about AXO. Well, but why should you even listen to me? Well, I spent the last 10 years before joining Cardano community building traditional financial tools, from the bespoke market-making bots to the actual exchanges. And I have to tell you, I've missed a lot of features. Actually, in traditional finance, you have very few features, and a lot of actual features are only implemented by brokers. So, here I am, writing my own story with you of AXO, a platform that's going to enable you to trade as efficient on centralized exchange, staying compliant, and with the tools that the best market makers have to offer. Well, but before we get into that, let's visit what's the state of finance right now. DeFi. Well, counterparty risk. You give money to some gives the money to Caroline puts in the shitcoins, money is gone, right? Well, DeFi is better. It improves on that. But then it's usually one smart contract, right? Well, if you put $1 billion into a smart contract, well, a lot of people want to hack it, right? So that's a lot of concentrated risk. Then, well, DeFi, what's the definition of efficiency? Oh, you centralize everything on one server, right? Well, but despite that, they're still very limited. It's mind-boggling, right? On the other hand, DeFi, to make the same things work in centralized manner is not easy, right? So often you end up with inefficient products, and the functionality is also limited. Well, DeFi, the first thing you give your passport or whatever, right? So they're usually quite compliant. However, when you really need them, for example, like the market is collapsing, then they're inconvenient to use, like deposit riddles or whatever. DeFi, unfortunately, to a large extent, is not compliant. And to see that, you just have to look to Tornado Cash, and that Tornado Cash then was deposited into one liquidity pool, and suddenly all your funds are not compliant. Nobody's going to touch them again. You don't want that. You're a good guy, you want to have your money to be clean, right? Well, DeFi. Technically speaking, nobody is cheating you on average. However, they give a lot of privileges to the people who do a lot of trades. For instance, market makers. And in one specific case, we already know, like FTX gave top priority to Alameda, which meant they could literally print free money. They could front-run everyone. But here comes Ethereum, right? Hey, what if everybody could front-run, right? So there we are. Thankfully, Cardano fixes that. Thankfully, can fix that with zero-knowledge proofs, right? But here we are. DeFi is completely obfuscated. Well, trust me, bro, the 8 billion is there, right? Well, it's not that like I don't trust you, bro, but I don't want to need to trust you. Now, DeFi is completely transparent, and that's great. However, you don't always want to be completely transparent. For instance, you're submitting 100 million sell order. It's like an iceberg. You just don't want to show everything at once, like the market is going to panic, and it's a normal order. Well, let me introduce you to AXO. AXO has a superpower called programmable swaps. Programmable swaps enable you to define any order type and trading strategy that you want. And not only that, thanks to Cardano UTXOs, is going to be able to match them exactly to what you want to interact with. Now, you are compliant from day one. Let that sink in. We are on the centralized trading platform. You are bringing DID, digital decentralized ID, and now, big organization, they have specific compliance requirements. Okay, I want only to talk to other know your customer, know your business people, and there is, like the Pepe Frog guy. He wants to trade with everyone. Nothing stops him. What's more, a lot of those funds, they have different compliance requirements for different trading strategies, right? Like the retirement fund maybe trade in different compliance than, some high net worth individual fund. So you pick your compliance requirements, and everybody else brings their own compliance to check. But what's more, you may not realize that, on centralized platform, you give your identity away. You have no idea what's going on with that. With the centralized one, you're only telling, hey, I have a proof that the identity is there, but it's only being revealed when the court order arrives. Funds are separated, right? You have small pockets. The programmable swap is like a small portfolio manager managing these funds. And that means they're not being good. So even if there are trades with the Tornado Cash people, right, you can say, okay, I want to stay out of that. So the funds themselves have a trace that they're compliant. Now, we don't talk enough about that, but especially for all of you, that's the most important point. You need a platform that's going to treat you the same way as the 5 billion guy, as Alameda, as somebody's close friend. And Axo achieves that using programmable swaps. All the programmable swaps have a projection to virtual order book. So you get a virtual order book, and from that order book, there's a fair ordering requirement. Best offer, time of the information reveal. Hey, maybe Oracle, maybe Iceberg order. It reveals information later. We should treat it like it was arrived at that time. And then market improvement to break the ties. Gradual transparency. Well, we generally want to be transparent, but sometimes we want to hide the information for good reason. So you incorporate some form of the zero-knowledge proof that you can prove the information just was not used. Well, so let's see how Axo stacks to that. Millions of separate boxes, so no single-party risk. Efficient by design, I talked about that already, programmable swaps. Complete from day one. Fair at the core. Gradual transparency. We've built it not only to be great for retail, but for every institution in the world. Now, let's talk a bit about the Axo Superpowers. Well, that's a strategy designer for programmable swap that is able to trade in 3 different markets. When it's a bear market, it's going to purchase you a very nice portfolio when it's going up. When it's going down, well, it's going to go into the stablecoin. And when the market goes sideways, it's going to do a very nice market-making strategy. Well, that's the virtual order book. You have all this complexity, and you have the interface that looks better than the best centralized exchange. Dexy is sexy, right? The superhero sidekick is the signal engine. It's able to bring all the on-chain data, process this into other trading indicators, same for the off-chain data, and you have access to all this data in a programmable swap. What's more, Signal Engine also allows you to create your own data feeds. I often ask, hey, this is so hard to use, like you describe it like some fantasy, right? Well, no. Like how many of you drive a car, right? Well, you haven't built that car, right? But you can drive it. It's the same with Axo. It's as hard as it's going to make it. If you are a very sophisticated trader, you can build a very sophisticated strategy, back-test it, but you can just go there and say, hey, let me buy some Husky at that price. Or I want to DCA out of Husky, right? Because I heard it's going to 0. Who knows? And you can trade also very professionally in derivatives, using the ladder and everything else, the tools that the professional traders use. And all of you will have access to that, even playing field. Axo is also going to be a pool of innovation. You're going to be able to share your trading strategies, exchange ideas, and also you're going to be able to create your strategies in zero-knowledge proof way and allow other people to deposit funds for them in a safe, decentralized manner. Now, some nice images, like some of us like to brag, like we're trading on the phone. Yes, all of that is on the line. And I promised you that I'm going to bring the glasses, right? Because if you build what's hidden now, then when you release it, it's already late. But with Axo building for the future, what we really need. Well, and the most important of all, together, all of you and me, we drive financial freedom and opportunity for all. Thank you. Stay awesome, Cardano.